Oh, is that what we have to do? Okay. So, y'all, I have what is this, a learning curve because I've never used this before, and I have a friend who uses it quite a bit, but I've never used it. So this is my first time. So if you guys can hear me, please let me know, and then we'll go ahead and get going. So I don't waste or take up any more of you guys' time before I start sharing my screen. So today we're going to be doing a home buyer workshop. We are going to focus specifically on the steps to get you qualified, the mortgage requirements, savings, and then we're also going to talk about some housing programs that are currently taking in um, first-time home buyers or giving out monies for first-time home buyers. So this will probably take about 20, 30 minutes, the part that I have to do. And then, of course, you guys are going to be welcome to answer questions at any time. If you are streaming this on Facebook and YouTube, you should be able to see like a button that will ask you if you want to be able to put your comments, okay, on the screen. And when you click it, it'll be there. So it's already showing for somebody. Hooray. So we're going to go ahead and get started as soon as it lets me do what I got to do. Get my stuff open. Uh, all right. Yo, I ain't never in my life felt this slow about anything. Look, anything ever. And thank you for your patience while I'm getting this together. In the meantime, you guys can grab a pen and a paper so that we can get your stuff together so that you guys can take notes. Oh, stay. It's telling me I have to quit and come back, so I'll be right back. I think. Let's see if this does what it's supposed to do. All right. Can everybody see my screen okay? If not, then I will have to boot out and then come back. Hmm. We'll try again. So how was everybody's day? Because what I'm not going to do is let this bother me or get me down because I feel like I haven't done this in so long. So it is taking a little bit of time. And because I am using a new provider, thanks for letting me know. What I'm waiting to see happen is for the slides to pop up in the middle so you guys can see what I see. Um, because I want you guys to be able to have some sort of visual because some people hear, see, do, meaning they learn by hearing, they learn by seeing, they learn by doing. So if I can show you what you need to see, then I think that that would be much more helpful. With that being said, I can see where it shows, and I think I just saw it pop up on Facebook. So that leads me to believe that it's also available on YouTube. Can everybody see now? And you will still continue to see me in the corner as well. Good. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for being patient with me. while I figured this out. So today we are going to be talking about first time home buying. My name is Shannon. I am a realtor with Cornerstone Associates here in Seaford, Delaware, and I specialize in helping credit challenged individuals become mortgage ready, as well as helping you become a more confident home buyer. Because if you've never purchased a home before, then it can feel daunting. You can feel like it is just hard to do. You don't know where to start and all of those things. All right. So I have had my fair share of lemons. I have been a first time home buyer, so I know exactly what it feels like when you are trying to get yourself together. You're hearing the advice of a whole bunch of different people and you're not sure which way to go. Thankfully, I've been blessed and I've learned a lot about home buying and have helped a lot of families overcome issues that they may have experienced with home buying and helping them have a better understanding so that they could go on to purchase a home, and most or all are still in them today. Now, I've been featured on Yahoo, um, different podcasts, and written different articles for different organizations to be able to educate you better in this scope. I've been in housing for about 2 decades, which makes me sound really old when I say it that way. I did participate on a business trip to China when I was in college. I've been Rookie of the Year and a top producing agent, as well as owning a successful 5-star credit repair company. So everything that I'm going to be teaching you guys today is information that you can use. It's stuff that you should be able to um, apply today. It's not going to require you to do anything extra. Like, I'm not going to tell you, so everything that I showed you today, now I need for you to give me money. No. Okay. Everything I'm explaining to you today is stuff that you can actively use and it shouldn't be an issue. So if you're here today, it's likely because you are wanting to buy a home and you just don't know where to start, but you might have your own motivations. So do me a solid and drop in the chat. Why are you guys here today? Is it that you don't know where to start? Are you looking for home buyer programs? Are you hoping that I'm going to do a deep dive into first front door? Are you having credit issues? Like, what's the look? Why are we here today? And I'm going to wait because I need for you guys to talk to me. Okay. Now, if for some reason you're feeling like you're having a little bit of issue commenting, you should see a link at the top of this that says, hey, click here so that we can see your comments. So when you click it, I'll be able to see your comments on the screen, or else I can just see them on my screen. Ready to buy a house. Thank you so much, Joy. And also too, where's everybody from? Because that's always fun to hear. Like, everybody's not always from Delaware. Okay. And I think it's Katina. Katina, you're here to fix your credit to buy a home. Thank you so much for being here. Tanisha, you want to do assistance program and where to start? Absolutely. And we're going to cover all of these things today. So I don't want for you all to feel like, oh my goodness, I've come on here on a Tuesday and I walked away with nothing. We're going to answer all of those questions. Exactly. Okay. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first things that we're going to discuss today is the amount of money that you need to have saved to buy, which I believe touches on Tanisha's question. We're going to talk about credit score, which is going to cover Miss Jordan's concerns, as well as different paperwork that you need to purchase a home. Now, like I said earlier, if you have a pen and paper, you can go ahead and write. And honestly, you guys can go ahead and screenshot if you feel like you want to. I mean, you can use your notes. I'm a screenshot person with notes. Yes, he told me that you were inquiring and that you might be reaching out. Your brother's great. He's a good person. I don't know where to start and first time home buyer options and resources. Good. Good. Thank you guys so much for being here and engaging with me. I appreciate that. All right. So your FICO score qualifies you for a home. All right. Your FICO score qualifies you for a home while your income does not. All right. And like I said, we just gonna dive into it, y'all. So just cut your pearls later, okay? When you're going to purchase a house, the first thing that you're going to make sure is on the up and up is going to be your FICO credit score. Your FICO credit score is the credit score that the lender uses to qualify you for a home. This is not going to be the same as a Credit Karma score. This is not going to be the same as Credit Sesame. This is typically not going to be the same credit score that your credit card company shows you for credit monitoring. Is this new information to everybody, or did everybody know this? Because I kind of want to gauge. our knowledge bank a little bit. What did we know? Did we know this? Okay. So, with that being said, good. We're going to break down exactly the score requirements that you need. So, when you are looking at your credit score, you're going to want to have a FICO credit score, and I will provide you guys with vendors that do FICO credit score are going to be like myfico.com, my score IQ. Those are going to be FICO providers, Experian.com if you have the paid membership. They're going to be able to show you what your FICO credit scores are. Now, so before we get too deep into that, don't go stopping right now to go sign up for my score IQ or for myfico.com because you might need credit repair. And we won't know that until we get through these credit requirements. Okay. So there's four different types of lending products that will typically work for first time home buyers. That's going to be FHA, which is going to overlook more of your issues if you have negative things on your credit report. So they're going to do and say, hey, Joy, if you have 60, if you got some late, we're okay as long as you've paid them and you've taken care of it in the past 60 days. We're okay with loaning you money for a home loan. But because I'm going to loan you money for a home loan and your credit's not as strong because you just did it within the past 60 days, I want to see a 580 credit score or higher. And if I do it with a 580 credit score, I'm going to require a little bit more money out of pocket from you. So I want you to give me 3.5% down. So for every $100,000 you borrow, you have to put down 3,500. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, while you guys are thinking about that, there is I don't want to say a loophole, but a caveat to that. So most first time homebuyer programs will say, hey, we can work with you, but we need for you to have a little bit more of a stronger credit score if we're going to let you do that. So we want to see it closer to a 640, but if you have a 660, we'll take less money and we won't make you participate in a homebuyer program or a homebuyer workshop rather. Let me correct that. We won't make you participate in a homebuyer workshop. So that's going to be FHA loan. Okay. And if you guys have any questions on this, you can type it and I will answer them once we get to the end of the slide. Okay. Because I know there's a bit of a lag between what I'm saying and what you guys are seeing. So you have USDA loans, which is 100% financing. It says, okay, Brooke, it's okay. We'll give you 100% of the financing, but if we're going to give you 100% of the money, then we need for you to have a stronger credit score for a longer period of time. So we don't want to see any late pays, any slow pays, any negatives. We don't want to see any negative reporting, anything that says you have any collections or anything like that on your credit report for at least the past 12 months. If you can do that, that is part of what we're looking for, and we can work with that. And then they'll give you 100% of the financing. Now, those two housing types are going to require for the house to be livable. You can't just find a house and say, hey, I want to do some renovations on it. I'm fine. Unless it is specific to a renovation loan, which I'm not talking about today. If you guys do want to know about the renovation loan, somebody can remind me at the end when I do the whole question slide and we'll talk about it. There's a conventional loan. Conventional loans are the type of loans that most of our parents and grandparents had. That loan is going to say, oh, I need for you to have a strong credit score, but I don't really care what the house looks like. If the house, does what it needs to do, you can put down 3 to 20%. Your credit score is strong. We'll do what we have to do. The stronger your credit score with that loan type, the more or the less your interest rate will be. Anytime you're qualifying for a home and you're going to use a home buyer program, they're typically going to have different types of interest rates. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. All right. Is anybody on here a veteran? Am I losing y'all? Am I going too fast? Is anybody on here a veteran? Married to a veteran, needing to use a veteran program? All right. Well, we're not going to deep dive into it then because I want to make sure that we do the most with our time. So the next question I typically get from people when they're looking to purchase a home is how much do I need to save to contribute to my home purchase? So, ladies, because I don't think we have any gentlemen on here today, how much money do you think you need to purchase a home? You can let me know in the chat. No answer is wrong. We're not going to drag anybody. We're not going to laugh or anything. How much money do you think is needed to contribute to a home purchase? So when I ask this question, it means what do you think you have to have saved in order to purchase a house? What do you need to have saved to purchase a home? 3,500. That's a good guess. That is a good guess. Anybody else? Now, while I'm waiting for more answers to come, like I said, there is a lag. If you guys can do me a solid, share this on your page and let people know that we're here because we want to help at least 20 to 50 home buyers this year. So 20 is the minimum. That's the baby number. If I'm being obnoxious, I'm saying 50. Okay, good. Okay, we got 3,500. We got 10,000. Okay, Joy said I would say the same, 3,500. All right. Okay, these are some good guesses. I appreciate y'all. Okay. So this number is going to vary. It depends. So on average, you're looking at a deposit, which is something that you put down when you see or you find the home, and that's going to be $1,000 minimum or 3% of the purchase price. Typically, the more expensive the house, the higher the deposit when you submit your offer. Okay. You're going to have inspection fees, which are going to do things like pay for your home inspection, your water inspection, possibly a septic, pool, radon, lead. Okay. You'll have your appraisal, which lets you know how much the bank is willing to give you for the property that you found. And then you have something called closing costs, which are costs that are associated with closing the loan. So these are costs like for attorney, your agent, title insurance, which we're going to break that down a little bit later because it can be a lot of information if I try to give it to you all at one time. So the number can vary. All right. And we have any questions on this so far? You can put them down and we'll get to them before the end. Okay. So we're going to go back to what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about FHA loans. If you are qualified for a FHA loan and you go to a lender, they're going to require you to put $3,500 for every $100,000 you borrow if you have an 850 credit score. Now, we all remember what type of credit score we have to get to buy a house? You guys can let me know in the chat. And while you guys are coming up with that answer, I might have prizes or special things for people who participate. Okay. It is going to need to be your mid score. So your credit score, absolutely. Thank you, Miss Jordan. So your credit score comes from three different places. You have TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian are credit bureaus. So whichever credit bureau falls in the middle is the one whose credit score the lender is looking at. I'm going to write it down so I know who is answering my questions. All right. When you are qualified for USDA, remember we say the 620 or better is your credit goal, and that's 0% down, so you don't have to have any money. Now, so we're clear. When I say you don't have to have any money down, we're talking about in addition to this number here, these numbers. Okay. So these are the numbers you're going to need, period, if you're financing a home. These numbers are in addition to. If it's conventional, it's going to be $3,000 to $5,000 for every $100,000 you borrow. And of course, the stronger your credit score, the lower your interest rate. So I want to use a scenario and kind of give you like a real life example of what this could look like. If you have a 580 credit score, let's say you're like, Shannon, I really want to buy a house, but I do not have time to fix my credit. I don't got time for this. Then this is what your numbers would look like. And just a real quick pulse check. Can everybody still hear me okay? If you can, let me know in the chat. So if you have a 580 credit score, then you would likely qualify for a FHA loan. Okay. Now, so we're just real quick question. What do you guys think the average price is for housing in our area right now? What would you say that it is? 200,000, 500,000, 758,000, 115,000. What number how much do you think the average housing cost is right now? Because people always say high, but I don't know quite what high is in comparison to what's actually going on. 250. Okay. And I'm gonna put these on the screen so you guys can see it. 250,000. Okay. 400,000. We got 350,000. Any other takers? Okay, 350,000. Okay, so the actual average cost in Western Sussex for home sales last month was $314,000. Are you guys surprised by that number? I was a little surprised because I definitely expected for it to be not that. I don't know what I expected for it to be, but I don't. And I'm an agent. I just didn't expect for it to be that. Okay. Okay, 350 to 400. So everybody was either high or low. Okay. So the numbers that I'm giving you are based off a $314,000 purchase because that is the average housing cost right now for Western Sussex County. So that's going to be from Delmar, Laurel, Seaford, Woodbridge. Okay. Okay. Well, Joy, you were better than me because I was. All right. So the down payment is going to be $10,990. You have your deposit, which I said is 1,000 or more. You have your inspection fees, total closing costs. So the lower your credit score, the more money you're going to have to come out of pocket. So you're looking at 25,000 to 32,000. Now, that's going to vary. As I said, depends on the loan type, depends on how much the cost of the house is, depends on whether or not you qualify for different programs and things of that nature. And these estimates could be high. But I'm just telling you what the percentages say. Okay. This is what the math said on my math. All right. All right. This one here is going to be if you take the time to work on your credit. I want you to understand how much of a difference it can make. If you work on your credit, then you could potentially qualify for USDA loan, or you can qualify for what we call down payment assistance program, which will give you money towards your down payment. If you qualify for USDA, then you don't have any money down. So the money that you would get for the DPA or down payment assistance program would go towards your closing costs. And the state of Delaware has closing cost programs that'll give you 3%. So that means you wouldn't have to pay down payment or closing costs. You would only have to have whatever fees are associated with the out-of-pocket portion, which would be the deposit, the inspection, and whatever you have to pay your agent to represent you as a buyer. And those numbers look significantly different. Okay, $11,000 sounds much better than 25, and even in that, it's probably lower. So all in all, I'm going to tell you that you're going to need $5,000 saved to start. But be prepared to need a solution for your down payment and your closing costs, depending on which loan program or loan product you're approved for. Are we clear on what I mean when I say DPA or down payment assistance programs and loan product? Because I want to make sure we're good. That's why I explained FHA and the different loans in the beginning, and then talked about the different down payment assistance programs. Down payment assistance programs can cover your down payment and or closing costs. The lender will let you know during your pre-approval. So you don't have to apply to the lender and then tell him, I want you to qualify me for a home buyer program. They're going to know that if they're good anyway, because they're going to ask you questions and make sure that they have a better understanding of what your goals are. So when you are going to do your home purchase program, whether you choose a credit repair person, a lender, a realtor, if they're not asking you what your goal is, your timeline, then think about it a little longer. Maybe find somebody else, interview some more people. Okay. Because the people that you're working with in this process, they're going to need to understand what your goal is. And you're going to be working with them for enough of a time to where your goal is going to need to be in the forefront. Okay. All right. So everybody say yes. So I think we're good on that. Now, with that being said, this is why it's important to get a pre approval. It lets you know how much you can qualify for when you purchase your home. Purchasing a house is not like going in the mall and window shopping. Okay. A pre approval is essential. It is something that you want to get done. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but these pictures that I'm sharing with you guys are actual people. They're actual testimonials from people that I've worked with. So, this young lady, she was in our mortgage ready group, and she was able to get a pre-approval. She did the work that was necessary. She listened to classes just like this and did what was said, and she did what she needed to do, and she was able to get this house. Now, this was a few years ago, so of course houses prices are different, and she's actually in another state, but the information that I'm teaching is going to be good no matter when. Okay. So a pre-approval is essential because it's going to help you know how much you can afford. You're not going to want to go shop for a car and not know how much you can afford. Like when they ask you, what do you want your car payment to be? You have an idea. It's the same thing with a house, right? It's going to save you time when you find your dream house. You do not want to get into the situation where you find the house of your dreams and then you're hemming and hawing, as old people would say, trying to get a pre-approval because you can't get your paperwork together because you don't know where your W-2 is. Like, what are we doing? If you do it in advance, then you don't have to worry about it, and then you'll already have the information. Some sellers don't even want to have unqualified buyers see their homes, and it also helps your agent know the condition of the house that you have to look at. And lastly, it lets everybody know that you're serious. You don't go out to eat without money. You don't buy a house without a pre-approval. If you don't take anything away from what I'm saying, you don't buy a house without a pre-approval. All right. When you're doing your pre-approval, you are going to need 30 days worth of pay stubs or a 1099 or a P&L, which is a profit and loss if you're self-employed. If you're self-employed, you know what that is. It's for the quarter. All right. You're going to need 2 years or 24 months of your most recent tax returns with W-2s for each job. I'm not a lender. I'm a realtor. I'm just relaying the information that I already know the lender's going to ask you for. Okay. So remember that. I'm sharing the information that I know you need. You're going to need 60 days worth of your most recent bank statements. And that could be 30. It could be 30, but I believe it's 60. This could be a typo. Okay. And with your bank statements, if it's 5 pages and page 5 is blank, they want all 5 pages. Do not blot out your account number. Don't get creative. Download it from off your bank app and submit it to the lender that you choose. You will need a valid ID at some point in this process, and you can use child support, alimony, disability, or SSI. I would say if you're going to utilize any of these, so, child support, alimony, disability, or SSI, make sure that it's the income that's guaranteed. Like if you are a person who gets alimony or child support and they skip months, I maybe wouldn't try to use it as guaranteed income. Did you guys know you could use child support, alimony, disability, or SSI for home purchase? Excuse me. So now that you understand the loan products, your credit score, how much money you need, I want to make sure that you understand how much house you can afford, because this is important. And if anybody's ever been on any of my workshops before, I'm going to drill this home until I can't. Okay. I want you to do a mortgage readiness test. Shannon, what's a mortgage readiness test? Well, I am happy that you asked. A mortgage readiness test is you just sitting down and making sure that what you think you can afford is really what you can. And you test it before you get a house so that way you know. So it looks like this. If I know that I want to, yep, I didn't know if okay. If you know that you want to pay $1,500 for a mortgage, well, actually, no, we're not going to do that. Somebody give me a number. What's your dream mortgage payment? Somebody give me a number. And be realistic, please. Don't give me a $200 payment. Give me a realistic mortgage. I mean, it can happen because God can do anything. But I said, give me a realistic number, okay? Realistic mortgage payment or what your goal mortgage payment is. And everybody's can be different. Okay, we're going to use those two numbers, actually. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to put it on the screen so you can. We have $1,000 and then we have 1,500. We're going to use both of those numbers. So we are going to use $1,500 for our goal mortgage, right? If you have a pen and paper, I want you to do this math with me. So write down $1,500. This is our dream mortgage payment. This is what we want to pay ideally for our home. I want you to take that number and we're going to act like our mortgage payment is $1,000, right? So I want you to subtract your goal mortgage payment from your rent payment. Now, when we get off this live, you can do this with real numbers. So whatever your goal is, and if you want, you can do it with real numbers right now. I just want to make sure you guys can, follow the math. And I don't think it's hard, but everybody doesn't like math. So whatever your dream mortgage payment is and whatever your rent is, subtract the two. If I use the example that the ladies gave me, I'm looking at $500. I want you to save whatever that difference is for 6 months. If I can save $500 for 6 months, I've saved $3,000, right? That is part of my out of pocket cost. And if I can do that for 6 months, then I can probably manage that goal mortgage payment that I want to do. Because what happens is a lot of people are not buying houses because you guys are scared. You're scared to buy because you're afraid you're going to lose it. And you're mostly afraid that you're going to lose it because you don't know the numbers, which is why I want to make sure that you have an understanding of what the numbers do. So if you can save that, then it's going to help towards your upfront costs or like that deposit and the inspection. It's going to help you get used to paying that gold mortgage, that $1,500 from paying $1,000. And it's going to help you build credit if you need a credit builder. You can put it into a credit builder account or get a secure credit loan from your local credit union. And it'll help you build credit in time. And then when you get it back, you'll have interest because you'll put it into a CD. Okay. So I hope that kind of eased the scariness of wanting to do or get an idea of what your mortgage payment could look like. Did you guys think this was beneficial? If you did, let me know. Or were you guys like, Shannon wasn't feeling it, didn't do good at all? One. Or did we have mid-grade where it's like, okay, it was all right. Or were we really loving it because this was something that kind of took that scariness away from looking at the numbers of what you could potentially afford for your home? Because if I'm not helping you, then there's no need of me doing this. And y'all can let me know in the chat. Okay. Make sure I can see everybody. Jeez, y'all. I'm sitting here trying to read the comments through my phone or making sure I'm not missing anything good. I'm happy that this worked. Good. Making sure I'm not missing anything because, technology is technology. See, uh, yeah, I was missing some stuff, but I don't think. Okay, fair. Thank you. You know what? I love y'all. Y'all honest. She said a 10, but I'm still a little scared, and that's okay. I own a home, and I'm scared every time I have to call somebody for a repair. Every time me and my husband got to call somebody, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I can do without. I don't need it. Okay, which is normal. New things are scary, but they're also exciting, right? So how do I make sure? And this is another thing that I found a lot of first time home buyers experience too. How do I make sure that I'm not buying a bad house? Right? You guys hear all kind of horror stories. I know you on TikTok, Facebook. You guys, I'm sure you hear the stories. I bought a house and it had a snake den underneath of it. I'm just using that as an example, people. Okay. I mean, it was a story though. Um, okay. See, I know what y'all afraid of. That's I got y'all covered. So what you will do is get a home inspection. Every home buyer, I don't care if you pay cash or not. I don't care if it's your granny's house that you're buying. I don't care if it's brand new. I don't care about any of that. Get a home inspection. The home inspector is important. Okay. They're going to make sure that the house is structurally and mechanically sound. Okay. Now, this is specific for Delaware because I'm a licensed realtor in the state of Delaware. All right. I took the 99 hours. I did the classes. I've done the CEUs. I'm active. Okay. What they're going to do is the home inspector, you want them to be licensed, ASHI certified, and insured. They're going to come and they're going to look at the house. They're not going to like cut holes in the wall or anything, but they are going to like run the dishwasher, make sure the windows can go up and down, different things that they're going to search. Does the heat work? What's the hot water heater temperature? Uh, age of things. They're going to look at different things and they're going to come up with a list and they're going to come up with three potential outcomes. One is going to be satisfactory. Of course, you want satisfactory. Satisfactory is great. It means we're good. The second option is going to be minor, which means, okay, this isn't an issue now, but it's something to pay attention to. And then you're going to have the third one, which is major, which is typically going to be like safety related. In our state of Delaware, you can negotiate any terms that you want, but that particular one does have like a set thing where it says, you know, if it's major and you go through with it, you agree to it, the seller fixes it, all is well. But the buyer, you do have a chance to walk away if the seller's like, I don't want to do any of the repairs that you asked for. If you guys can't come to terms on negotiation, you can walk away and get your deposit back. All right. Now, if the seller does everything and they fix everything that you asked for, and then you try to walk away, you might not get your deposit back. But it does give you an option, or you do get an out. Everybody good on that? Make sure that you get a home inspection. The home inspection is not for the agent, it's for you. So the seller's not going to pay for a home inspection. This is for you because this is you doing your due diligence to make sure that the house that you're buying is good, or at least that you feel comfortable about it. Even a new house is going to have things that come up from a home inspection. FHA, USDA, and VA homes must be livable. I touched on this earlier, and must be able to pass a lender appraisal. Can somebody tell me what an appraisal is? And we're almost done, guys. Can anyone tell me what an appraisal is? What's an appraisal? Exactly. How much the house is worth. You know, you get all the gold stars today. She said, she said, I'm coming through. Don't play with me. That's exactly what it is. It tells you how much the house is worth. You know what it's selling for, but an appraisal lets the lender know that the money they're giving you to purchase the house is worth what it is. Okay. In that process, conventional mortgages, they're not, I'm saying lenient because their credit requirements are slightly different and the housing requirements are a little different. That's a conversation for a different day. Don't worry about it. Just know that whether you're USDA, conventional, or VA, doesn't matter. It needs to pass the appraisal unless you're going to pay cash. And if you were going to pay cash, of course, quite naturally, we wouldn't have a need to be here today. The state of Delaware, we do the title searches through an attorney. So this is typically like the last phase in this process. From the time that you purchase the house to this point can be anywhere from 30 to 60 days. Okay, depending on the loan type and the things that happen as you go through the contract. The attorney's role is to make sure that the settlement monies are handled with accuracy and legitimacy, that everything is legit and on the up and up. They schedule your survey. Just because a piece of property has a fence doesn't mean that that's your property. It just means that it's a fence. Okay. So you want to get a survey. They complete your title search. This is something that searches back like 100 years to make sure that the property is handed down and changed hands properly so that you can have proper ownership. And this is the point in the process where you get the keys. You do not skip this either. I don't care if you pay cash. I don't care. You don't skip your attorney. You don't skip your home inspection. You shouldn't skip any of it, but sometimes I understand people make the decisions that they make. All right. If you choose Shannon as your agent, and I'd love to work with any of you. Um, what my role would be is to help you with pricing and negotiations, help monitor and maintain dates and deadlines, helping you stay within your contract because you do have certain time frames you have to meet. And I would be your personal real estate resource and liaison, okay? Because we help people buy and sell houses a lot of times within a year, okay? Where the average person typically buys and sells maybe 3 houses in a year. Usually a first house, a upside house, like upsizing, and then a downsize. And then some people buy their first home and they stay in it forever. So, and then the things change often. So that would be what my role is. And then we get to be friends, okay? So, how many of you guys are ready to buy? Let me know in the chat. After this, are you like, I'm ready to buy, Shannon, I'm ready to move forward? Let me know in the chat. I'm ready to go. I heard everything and I think I'm better off than I thought I was. And if you're not, that's okay. It's okay. But if you think you are, let me know in the chat. I'm not even going to put it up on the screen. I'm just going to leave it here for me to see. Y'all ain't getting sleepy on me, are you? Y'all with me still? All right. Well, I'm assuming that means we ain't quite there, which is okay. If you are not there, that's all right. I've got something just for you guys. I do have something called Mortgage Ready Academy, which is an exclusive home buyer community. In this community, we provide different levels of service. It's 3 plans, and I'm going to take the time to explain it to you. There are 3 plans in this particular program. And now I told you I'm not here to sell you. You already know if you need help or not. So I'm not here to sell you. I'm just telling you what's available. You can choose if this is what you want to do or not. First level of service is our home buyer level, which is where you just basically can get the replays to the home buyer workshop. So maybe you want to have access to this to hear it again. Maybe you want to go over it again and get different notes. Maybe you didn't catch something I said and you needed to hear it again. That's $5 a month. Right? We have our mid-level plan, which is our credit level plan. So you would get everything from the homebuyer workshop plan plus the credit level plan. And what the credit level plan is going to do is give you access to our credit builder function. So it's going to talk about the things you need to build your credit. Our 30 for 30 class, which is 30 points in 30 days, is going to give you a debt management class. It's going to give you how you can repair your credit yourself. All right. Excuse me. And that's available as well. Let me make sure, because I don't want to misspeak. I'll fool around and throw out the wrong prices, and then y'all gonna come find me and hunt me down and then say that I was a lie. I don't need y'all to do that. I don't want that life, y'all. Okay. So that level, which is our premium level program, is $10 a month. And then we have our VIP program, which would cover all of our home buyer starter kit, which gives like a deeper dive into maybe some circumstances that you might need to get over, such as maybe you have student loan debt. Maybe you're trying to get out of a bad car loan. It's going to discuss things that are more important to you. And in that one, we're going to talk about ways to help you make more money or try to organize your money, budgeting, okay, and that's $20 a month. Each one of those plans do have a annual plan if you think you want to, and that's something that I offer because I know that there's a need for people to have this, but I also feel like that you guys can get a good level of service without going broke doing it. Now, so we're clear. If my Mortgage Ready Academy is something that I created, this is not going to give you a certificate for you to be able to use for homebuyer program. But even if you go through homebuyer program, they usually loop you back to us in some sort of way. So if you think that this is something that you want to do or that you will need, then I do have that available and I will drop it. It's actually already in the chat. It's at the top and you can click it and you can choose your level of service. All right. And you'll want to do that before, I change things up because the more people that get in there, the more the price is going to change. All right. So I do appreciate you guys for being here and sticking it through with me. I definitely appreciate you guys for joining me on this Tuesday night. I'm happy, Brooke, that you feel better about it. And that I know, like, yes, everybody's going to have things that they still need to work on, which is why we do this. But you don't know what you need to work on if you don't even know what you're working towards. So I hope that all of you now have a better understanding of what you're trying to work toward. Because if you don't know that, then where are you going? You don't know where you're going if you don't know what you're going towards, right? So, friends, let's go ahead and drop your questions if you have them. I said to myself, yeah, excuse me, with my look low, that I would devote an hour to you guys. And I do. I know I said it's like 20, 30 minutes of content because I want to make sure I understand your questions. But if you have questions, now's the time to ask them, and I will answer them to the best of my ability, unless you guys don't have questions. And then I'm not going to take your time. But I do appreciate you while you're getting that together. Again, you can sign up for the Mortgage Ready Academy. When you log in, it will ask you, or when you go to sign up, it'll ask you what level of service you want, and it will automatically unlock the classes for that level of service. So if you just do the home buyer, then it's just going to give you the repeats of the home buyer class. If you do the premium, which includes the home buyer plus the credit, then it's going to give you all the credit classes plus the home buyer. And then, of course, if you do the VIP, then it's going to give you access to all the classes that I have when I do the Q&As and things of that nature. All right. So um, I'm not seeing any questions come up, but I do, like I said, I want to give you time. I do appreciate you guys again so much. I hope that you guys do feel encouraged and empowered to go ahead and start making moves towards getting what you need. Um, what I teach and what I do helps you, whether you're self-employed, single mom, single dad, family. It doesn't matter. I've helped all types of clients. And we're not here to determine, like I tell people, I'm not here to judge numbers. Mm-mm. We're not here to judge people. I'm looking at numbers and making the numbers make sense and helping you get towards your goal. So here I have no questions at this moment, but thank you so much for the information. No, thank you too. Your credit repair program's legit. Yep, yep. And I didn't even talk about that, so I wasn't even trying to go there, you know. But I do also have a credit repair that we do through Credit Score Go. You have two different options if you feel like you need to repair your credit, where it's $39.99 for you to pay for your credit report, and you can repair it on your own with AI assisted credit repair. That's going to be separate from score, from not score, but from school, because school is more of an educational based program where the credit repair, Credit Score Go is credit repair. We don't include any education in that. It is strictly what it is. You can do it on two levels of service. You can either do it yourself for $39.99 and it's AI assisted, or you can pay us and we can do it as an added service plus the $39.99. It's up to you, and that's $99 a month. So yeah, the credit repair is legit. So oh, nobody reminded me. And people have probably gone off now, but nobody reminded me. You people had one job, which was to remind me to go through first front door. What are we doing? So First Front Door is one of the housing programs right now that is taking people and participants. It is a yearly program, and they usually have availability around this time of year. And what First Front Door says is they will match you for every dollar that you have. They match you three up to $1,500, and so they'll max out like when you get $15,000. Okay, so every dollar they give you three, and then it maxes out at like 15,000, and that goes towards your down payment and or closing costs. Now, the great thing about that program is that you can couple it with other down payment assistance programs. So if you can qualify for Delaware State Housing Authority programs, homebuyer programs, then you can add this one to it and just have more monies. This is why it's important to make sure that you understand. You was thinking about it, but you didn't say it, girl. She she was like, I was thinking about it, but from your mind to my mouth, right? So that program's really great if you know that right now you're already qualifiable because of your credit, but maybe you don't have as much saved for down payment, but you got at least 1,500, then that's a really great program because you can couple it with the other things. Do we have any questions about that? Now, First Front Door is a income-based program, meaning that you have to have a certain income requirement. So, excuse me, you can make up to $54,000 as a single person, all the way up to $103,000 if you have 8 people in your home. So the income requirement is pretty reachable for our area. Do you recommend buying through Habitat? I recommend buying through whatever way works best for what your finances are. So if your finances say that Habitat for Humanity is a program to do, then Habitat for Humanity is a program to do. Like I do volunteer. Usually it ends up being like once a year with Habitat builds. I'd like to do it more often, but Habitat is a decent program to go through if that's what you have to do. Habitat for Humanity is going to basically, they utilize USDA funds. So USDA has two different programs. They have a direct side and then they have a guaranteed side. Direct means that they're getting the money directly from USDA and they're able to keep your mortgage payment low. And they're able to do that because you are going to contribute work hours towards building the home. So between the equity that you put into it or the work hours that you build with the home, plus what they're able to put you through with subsidy payments from USDA, they're able to keep the mortgage payment low. The longer you live in the house, the more ownership you have within the home. So yes, if that's what you have to do to purchase a home, absolutely. Home ownership is the goal. I would love to be able to help any of you, but home ownership is the goal. Now, First Front Door program is not going to work with anything like Habitat because Habitat has their own thing. And if you're unfamiliar with Habitat, you can go to Habitat for Humanity. Each area has their own, I want to say office or like location, but there's one in Delaware. And with Delaware, it's going to be separate for each county. So you have Sussex County, you have Kent, you have Newcastle, and then in Salisbury, they have their own. And so that's how it would go. But that is a nationwide program, as far as I know. And they're able to do it that way. You're welcome. Is it the lender that would provide the down payment assistance programs that are offered? So what would happen is Delaware State Housing Authority has a list of lenders that can contribute or that are approved for Delaware State Housing Authority funds. So it would need to be a lender that would be on their list. And if you are approved with that lender, or if they're approved, the lender will let you know. So like I mentioned in the beginning, they're going to ask you questions. Hey, what's your goal? What is it that you're trying to do? Or are you a first time home buyer? Different things of that nature. And then they'll run you through and they'll let you know. Now, everybody that I offer, sorry, y'all. I thought the dog was behind me. Everybody on my vendor list, because I do have a list of vendors that participate in home buyer programs, they all participate in some sort of home buyer program, even if it's not Delaware State Housing Authority, because banks have their own programs. They don't all have to run through Delaware State Housing Authority. But the lender would provide you that. So no matter what, you want to get that pre-approval, because how would you know what you can do unless they tell you? And then that helps your lender or your realtor with negotiations and helping find the house and making sure that the numbers make sense. I hope I answered that, because I have the tendency sometimes to give too much information, and I'm really working on that. Okay. Any other questions? Because I'll answer the questions as long as you guys are asking them. Now, if you stop asking them, then I'm going to go ahead and take her down for the night. All right. Well, while you guys are getting it together, oh, okay. How long is the pre-approval good for? Good question. You got some good questions. Usually 60 or 30 days. That's something that I would ask the lender. And what they'll do if your pre-approval runs out or expires, then they'll just ask you for updated information, whether it be your bank statements and your proof of income. Which is why when you decide to purchase a home, do not, I repeat, ma'am, sir, auntie, uncle, sister, cousin, whoever, don't co-sign for anybody, don't miss any payments, No buy here, pay here. If your car breaks down, carpool, borrow a car. I don't care what you do. Don't miss any credit card payments. Don't let any collections come on your account. None of the things. Because as soon as the things happen, then that can impact your pre-approval. And you don't have to pay everything from off your credit report in order to qualify for a house. We're not going to get into what you have to pay. Just know that you don't always have to pay everything off, which is also why we tell you to talk to a lender. hmm So, what I will say to you guys is if you're like, Shannon, I need to know what you know, then you need to join school because that's where everything is that I teach. Everything that I teach in depth is going to be there. That's where it's housed. Any other questions? All right, we are at 8:30, so this has been an hour, and I think I got started a little late. So I wanted to give you guys time, for us to answer everything for you because I do know that I hit a bit of a hiccup when it came time for me to log on. So I appreciate you guys from being here. Again, my name is Shannon. I specialize in helping credit challenged individuals become mortgage ready. I do that by educating you on the home buying process and then providing with real estate services so that you can confidently buy a house and by helping you overcome any issues that would prevent home ownership. If you guys found any value in this, please do me a solid. Follow me, like, subscribe, okay? And then ultimately do one for yourself, which would be to join the school community so that you can have access to these replays and this educational content that you need to help you correct your credit, catch replays of this, and then learn things like how can I get out of a bank car loan? How can I purchase a house with student loan debt? How can I qualify for a home as an entrepreneur, building a house from the ground up? We cover all sorts of things, as well as a monthly Q&A in there as well. So I do thank you guys for being here today. I hope you guys have an awesome evening. Please stay safe and thank you so much. All right. Good night.